So when my kids were little, we were watching the World's Strongest Man competition.
Yep.
And I told my kids that I had competed in that when I was younger,
Right.
and that I finished 7th. I figure I had to give them a realistic number. So my kids were just like, "Oh my God, Dad, that's amazing. How come you didn't get to be number 1?" I'm like, "Well, you see the size of these guys. They're pretty big. I did my best." And so my kid, I hit them at the right time. So as they grew up, growing up, they still believed it.
Yeah, right.
And my son told us at Thanksgiving like 2 years ago, he was like, "Yeah, Dad, remember that 7th strongest man?" And he's like, "I remember I was like in 11th grade at school, and it came up, and all my son's friends obviously grew up with him, and they were like, 'Yeah, I remember you telling that.' You're like," and they were like, "Parker, that's not true." And he's like, "No, it was true. He was." And they were like, and then he was like, "Oh, wait a minute, that absolutely cannot be true."
Let me add this up. Wait a second.
And he told us that night, he's like, "Yeah, I actually grew up thinking that you were the 7th strongest man in the world."
Hey, listen, that'll let him sleep better at night.
Jerickson. Magnus
Jerickson.
Jerickson.
You see the mountain broke the world record over the weekend?
Did. That's insane.
He lifted like 1,200 pounds or something like that?
Yeah, it was like 1,104 pounds or something crazy.
Yeah, it was just, I was just.
I would accidentally shit my pants if that did that.
I think you probably did.
I think I've been able to tag all of you guys in on this.
Why?
So it is setting up here. Hold on.
Hey, I think we're live. Yep.
All right. So you guys will want to, when you track who's following and you track the comments, and I urge us all to do so, make sure, Bill Playford, that you turn off your volume on that, because we've had that before. All right. So I'm going to kick off with our...
I'm already confused.
Welcome to your... Here, I'm going to carry this over. Hold on one second. Welcome to your Monday Morning Roast. I'm your host, Joe Webb, along with my co-hosts and best industry friends, Bill Playford, Brent Wees, David Hudson, and Eric Miltsch. I was setting that alphabetically, starting my first name. This is our inaugural episode, and our show is the equivalent of gathering around the old water cooler, coffee in hand, catching up on each other's weekends, discussing current events, along with topics such as life, love, and a little work. You too will be able to join us if you want to weigh in, share, or ask questions. Drop it in the comments, and if you're up for it, we'll direct message you a link to join us on video. You can ask us questions related to whatever we're discussing. No pitching allowed. And you will likely be subjected to a question or two in return, maybe even a light roast. So with that, your Monday Morning Roast. I will go through the spiel again in a minute. But first, cheers, boys. Good morning.
Morning, brother.
Morning, everybody.
So let me just start off. Bill, Bill and I always do this. Bill, how was your weekend? What'd you do?
Just inhaled some coffee. Does that count right now? So had a great weekend. I did not watch any TV. It was sunny out. And so like any good Midwesterner, I did yard work for about 12 hours this weekend. I'm sunburnt AF. I taught a stump a lesson or two. And I got to see the Starlink.
Wait, is that like sort of code for something else? Like you taught a stump a lesson
that's
or two?
aerobics.
Is that something you do by yourself?
No, I had a really, really horrible stump I could not get on my yard, so I burned it like a man.
Did you bring out one of those Elon Musk flamethrowers or whatever?
No, I'm not rich enough for one of those, or cool enough, or right-wing enough for that matter. Believe it or not.
Obviously, we're all besties. What was your weekend like? Tell me about it.
Me?
I already know something cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what did I do? I didn't do any damage to any stumps, but no. Maggie and Lisa and I do themed dinners, and we did a themed dinner on Saturday that Joe disapproved of very emphatically after he saw pictures. But we did an opposite day. So what that meant was, in total, so Maggie and Lisa cross-dressed as men. They did all my makeup and dressed me up as a woman.
I didn't get to see that picture though.
No one ever will, but it was good. They put my hair in pigtails and did some very nice makeup. We also, though, during the day, you had to say, like, instead of good day, bad night, you couldn't use your right hand. If you're right-handed, you had to use your left hand for everything. We watched, other content and music we listened to was opposite of what we actually liked. And then we actually did go out in public and walked all the dogs dressed the way we were dressed around the neighborhood.
Really?
Awesome.
Yeah, which in downtown Toronto is not really that big of a deal.
Yeah, they're like,
no, we walked by so many people that didn't even like bat an eye.
Bad an eye.
So, we drove through town at one point to get we had to pick up one of the dogs. So we actually drove through town and then we walked the dogs in public.
I think
cross-dressed on Saturday.
I think I commented that Lisa dressed up like a man. Brent's never been more aroused.
No, she looked amazing. She looked like this cross between Prince and George Michael from
She
the,
looked
like
like
the Faith album.
Adrian Zemed in
Prince, didn't she?
too. He was a Thunderbird, that's
Well, she did the leather jacket picture. Yeah, her Instagram is private, but it was pretty cool because she went on this like YouTube video where she watched somebody who was doing a transformation makeup thing for a competition. What's going on? Where's the extra? Yeah. It was badass. That's what we did, and then that was the highlight.
I love that.
Yeah. So Eric,
thank you, David.
You're welcome. I love you.
I love you too.
What did you do this weekend? Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I just did a lot of work this weekend. Yeah, this
No pitching. No pitching.
Oh my God! Did you
Already.
audit a site or something, Eric?
Everybody
Already.
I mean, there you go. This guy can't help it. Like just
No, I just had a lot
get
of
through it without talking about work.
Other than that,
You watched all the TV.
yeah, I watched a great new show called Upload. It's fantastic.
Seen that.
Strongly recommend it. It's got everything that you could possibly imagine in terms of future tech. It's got upload your life, eternal afterlife type of concept.
Mhm.
Very light, just real fun. The part that I love the most though, there's the guy's he wakes up in the morning in his hotel room.
Are you going to ruin the whole show for us now?
Yeah, spoiler.
Holy cow!
So in the end,
Goes to get a coffee, and he's got to swipe right and swipe left to find it, but he goes to reach for it, and it's an in-app purchase. So it's just it was just a cool feature, I thought. Other than that, Susan's just been on a cooking tear, just making some awesome stuff. She made a nice big batch of sauce and meatballs. So I ate a lot this weekend. But other than that, that was it. It was finally nice here this weekend, so we got to go outside a little bit. But other than that, just quiet.
Did you watch TV outside too? Did you bring the TV outside and just watch TV out there?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm getting to that point.
I can
Sit in the
just
garage and watch
imagine-
TV.
I can just imagine Eric having one of those old-timey TVs and Susan behind it moving the antennas for him.
Yeah,
hitting the side of it.
it was nice outside, so we finally got to go outside and watch TV outside.
Eric goes and sits down. He's like, oh, okay, great.
Hey, Miltsch, did you go out and did you go out for your Sunday morning sub purchase?
I haven't done that in a while, actually. That was I just had an anchor in that day. But no. Other than that, no stump removal, no cross-dressing parties, nothing like that. So not as fun as you guys.
So, Dave, what'd you do this weekend?
Like Bill, a lot of exterior yard work as opposed to interior yard work, I guess. But we've been doing a ton of home improvements here. Sarah and the kids are beginning the move-in process here.
Big step.
Big step, a whole new thing now. So that's been good, a ton of, it's interesting. So I bought this house about 6 years ago. And for the first year, I guess, it was just me and Alexander, right? Got to explore the house. But since then, it's become very much like a flop house for, I had my Jim Maloney living here for a while.
Degenerate friends and such.
Yeah. But then I had my mom move in, in the last year. And my grandfather, who was 90, wanted to be around her during that time. So then he moved in, so, and then over the summer, I had my buddy John Franzen living here.
So has like a family out in LA, doesn't he?
It's like,
What the fuck is going on there? That all
I
these
know,
people
man.
just moving into your house.
You're
Like, doesn't
telling
anyone
me.
have like jobs and can't pay their rent, or what's
I mean,
happening with your deadbeat
You
friends?
know his friends. I'll tell a story about
That's Hudson.
I'll tell a couple stories about 3
I just give whatever I have, I give away, and sure, but so it's interesting. I told Sarah, and I want you to tell that story, but I want to finish mine first. So as I'm looking at the house and watching it improve, I watch it becoming a home and not a flop house. The end.
This would make a great show. I just want you to know this. I seriously and then this guy moves in, and then Uncle Morty moves in, and then some random
Smelly Bobby moved in.
So, in regard, I've been on a tear, as you all know, about watching movies. Last night was the first night in probably 2 months that I didn't watch a movie. Period. I couldn't believe it. I've been averaging at least 2 a day.
Just eating a lot of cheese, or?
No. I went to bed at about 9:15 p.m. So anyway, long and the short of it is, I did some client work. Every single day I go out for a walk, and I go swimming every single day with the kids, and did some grilling out and watched movies, and that's about it.
I think we can all agree that's the opposite of Grussel.
Yeah, you did not Grussel very hard this weekend.
I'm already put off by the fact that people believe because, hey, this is quarantine, you better learn to pick up a life skill. Or hey, listen, now people are dealing enough with emotional distress to have to be and be more productive, jerk.
Yeah.
You should have to do that.
Yeah. I'm freaking the fuck out 23 hours of the day, but I better learn something new because some jabron on some video is yelling at me to be better. Shut up.
You need to learn Szechuan so that you can learn to decode the Wuhan COVID-19 China virus stuff better. Get your Duolingo on.
Listen, funny you say, I indeed have been on that tip and trying to learn as much as I can. And I signed up for the mastermind.com.
Yes, you've been learning from other filmmakers and such, right?
And I did that watching.
Mastermind or Master Class?
Oh, Master Class.
Yeah, I have Master Class too. It's badass.
Yeah, totally. I watched a bunch of them, and the ones that have made the most impact was Ron Howard.
Okay.
Watching him, talk about the storytelling. We got
his name in Happy Days.
The Fonz.
No, his name in Happy Days was Rich
Cunningham.
Opie earlier than that, right? So that's been great. I watched this one by Chris Voss, The Negotiator.
Chris Voss is really good. It's amazing.
Yeah,
he was one of the first ones they had on there too.
Oh, was it really?
He's sort of one of the first. I think one of the first ones they had in there. Malcolm Gladwell's Masterclass is really good. Gladwell's is really good. So if you're writing film or writing books or whatever, especially for content, Gladwell's approach to writing and how he puts sort of gifts things throughout the packets of writing that he has, it's I like all his writing. I listen to all his podcasts, but it's really interesting hearing him talk about how he just sort of builds things while he writes.
This segment of Morning Grind is brought to you by Masterclass. Learn about filmmaking.
Never
the movie Step Brothers.
Never call it Morning Grind, okay? It's your morning roast.
Morning Grussel roast.
It's a Grussel roast grindage.
So if I can, and I'll give people that are coming a real quick spiel again. This is your Monday morning roast. It's our inaugural episode. This is the equivalent of a bunch of besties in the industry gathering around the water cooler, coffee in hand, just talking about what went on with the weekend. We're going to cover topics.
It's just like The View, except dumber.
Yeah.
And even more feminine somehow. I don't know. Weird.
Well, after this last weekend, it sure was.
But not as diverse. So
way less handsome.
Yeah. Anyway, if you want to, we're going to give out a topic here. We're going to talk about it. If you want to, feel free to leave a comment on Facebook Live. If you want to join us, we will bring you into it. We will direct message you a link to it. You can join us on video only. Say your piece, ask us questions. We'll ask you questions. We might subject you to a small roast. And
come on, James Klaus. Get on here. Ask a question, you dumbass.
Yeah, and then we will kick you off. Well, here, first, if I can, I'd love to just ask, today is not just Don Shula's death day, apparently, if you all heard Don Shula died today.
What?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
But it is May the 4th, which people know it as Star Wars Day. Hey, a Star Wars mug.
Nice.
For the quote-unquote May the 4th be with you. So I just want to start off asking the question, what is, Dave,
Yeah.
best bud, I know your favorite movie, and you're a filmmaker, your favorite movie in life
Yeah.
is Return of the Jedi.
It is.
Tell me why you love that as your favorite movie of all time, and also how Star Wars has, maybe it hasn't for some of you, how Star Wars has impacted your life.
No. Kidding. So the first reason is the whole point of that Star Wars series was, the redemption of Anakin Skywalker, right? And it took his son to go to the darkest place to save his dad. And it's interesting because this actually gets emotional for me. And then at his darkest moment, when he's engaging with Darth Vader, in his darkest moment, he's hiding and he's got, and Darth Vader then, is reading his mind and he's like, he says, well, if you won't turn to the dark side, talking about Leia, maybe she will. And so the love for his sister, it's crazy. It does make me emotional.
Is this really happening?
Yeah, truly. I'm sorry.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
The love for his sister is the thing that helped him defeat the evil.
Those master classes really paid off.
What's going on? How to make yourself...
Yeah, the love for his sister, and that's why it's my favorite film. He goes into the darkest place to save his dad.
I need this now.
The love for his sister that is able to have him best that. That's why.
No, beautiful story. I like how much you read into it. Definitely. I haven't seen you cry that much since I...
Exactly. Don't let Eric talk about pot roast.
Yeah. I haven't heard Dave cry that much since I asked him for his review on Ernest Goes to Jail.
Yeah. If I was there, Dave, I'd give you the biggest hug. You cry.
He learns. He defeats.
I never picked up on the fact that he was doing that for his sister. I always did it as the fact that he knew that love overcomes, and love always, like light always beats the dark. And if he relinquished his ability to fight the Emperor, who he was extremely powerful. I mean, at the time in the canon, Luke was extremely powerful at Return of the Jedi. I don't think the film did a good enough job even showing how much he was, apparently. But I always thought that he knew that the only way he could win back the father's love is no father, and we're all fathers here, no father ever would want to see their child in pain. And they'd always, all of us, would always say, give their sickness to me, give their pain to me, and I will deal with it. Easy, Lemmy. So that's Brent's I don't care face. But, don't get me wrong, Brent would push Maggie in front of a fucking bus if he had to.
In a heartbeat.
Me first.
Yeah, exactly. Out of my way.
I always felt that Darth Vader did that. So in other words, that's how your favorite movie is, because of the love for his sister, his willingness to sacrifice himself, and then his father, for some reason, saying, damn, my son really loves his sister. I'm going to throw here. Not knowing that he kissed her earlier, just that's what got him to throw the Emperor over the side. So,
at that point when he finally grabs, when Darth grabs the Emperor, he gets it then, and that's it, and that's the redemption point,
I always thought it was the fact
save somebody.
I never thought it was the fact that Darth saw this kid's love for his sister. It was, my kid is suffering. And I've had
it was that, but it was Luke Skywalker's ability to defeat him, because it was after that. He's like, maybe she will, and then that's when he gets up and he's, and there's that big fight and the music swells and it's then that he's able to actually, beat him down.
Yep.
At that point, yeah.
Right. Awesome.
It feels like a great movie I've never seen before.
I just like the guy who sells Colt 45s double-crossed Han Solo.
But did he know?
Don't you besmirch the good name of Billy D. Williams, okay? My
Listen,
presence, okay?
Colt 45 came first, long before the Star Wars movies. Let's just put that out there. Let's establish that.
So has Star Wars affected anybody else at all?
No, not at all.
You're not a Star Wars guy?
No.
Did they
It's fine. It's all the fucking same. Every movie's the same. You watch them all, and I watched the last one. It's like, okay, their movies are so formulaic. It's just like, I know I don't want to make Dave cry again talking about this more, but I watched the last one with Maggie, and I sat there. We were in the theater watching it, and I was like, this feels like every single one of their movies.
They've started.
It's like they're predictable. They're just predictable.
Of course it was. It was all of it.
Well, how many storylines in Hollywood, period? There's only a handful of storylines. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess, but I don't know. I just think there's probably other sci-fi I watch that, it's good. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just, I'm not so
Joe.
affected by it.
I was 7 when I first saw it, 1977.
27, sorry.
Nothing like this had ever existed before. So obviously everybody's blown away. So anybody from that time that saw it was of the same mindset. Fast forward, after all the movies are out, it didn't have the same impact on everybody because everybody knew, the relationship between Vader and whatnot, and do that. So the impact that it's like, oh my God, that's his dad, that's all lost. But then for me, it completely changed. Again, as a kid, we were programmed to think, all right, well, they're never going to make the rest of the movies. So it was always like an elusive thing. And then all of a sudden Marvel comes out and does what? They do 22 movies in 10 years. But then you have, the final one comes out. That's the 9th one. You got to go see it just because, I was waiting until 7, since I was 7 to see it. But here's the thing. As it gained in popularity, you had the younger generation. Perfect example of someone like Klaus. He hates those movies. Can't even sit through it. Probably sat through 1 or 2 of them, if that at most.
It's that kind of attention span, really. I mean, honestly, serious. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, and on top of that, it doesn't have the same allure. So to the other generation. But what happened was other people just got so into it, and just the fanboys of it. Everybody just constantly complaining about it, and then it's just like, just enough already. Right? And it got to the point where I had to get rid of all my stuff that was in my office. I was a casual fan. It was just something cool but then it was like everybody else was just obsessing on it. Now it's just like, nah, it's overplayed. It just gets too much. Yeah, I can't care about it. I got a million tchotchkes laying around the house with Star Wars on it.
Listen, you got work to do. You got a lot of work going on.
You got sites to audit.
A lot of work to do.
seriously.
I got a meeting I got to be at in a minute.
I guess the first 3 were badass, and then after that, it's just
I might disagree because I would say, Empire and Jedi are my 2 favorites, but then I'd probably go into Force Awakens as my 3rd favorite.
Really?
Don't get me wrong. It was a space opera in scale of which nobody had ever seen.
space opera.
I like to call it a ballet.
Yeah.
Next topic, Joe.
Tap section.
Yeah, let's move on from Star Wars. We're done. Dave's cried enough. Dave has cried enough today.
Now,
We don't need Hudson.
What I'd like to say is how it impacted my life is that I met my wife, as dorky as it sounds, in line at the midnight showing of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace when it came out. That's where I met Vanessa.
Like, hey,
why
Joe,
are you crying?
Star Wars.
It was dressed
Great.
as Jawa.
It's not like I was dressed up like Chewbacca. I was out drunk with a bunch of friends. I was living in a 3-bedroom townhouse alone in Schaumburg. And I didn't really know many people at all back in the day. So I was lonely with a $500 to $1,000 expense account a week that I had to spend in bars and nightclubs working for Miller Brewing Company. So I was living just a drunken, hedonistic lifestyle. And I was out with, friends.
Doesn't sound like it if you're at midnight showings of Star Wars.
Well,
Doesn't sound that.
This is the Joe Webb story. Don't interrupt him, okay?
Oh yeah,
Chapter
sorry.
1.
Yeah, if I was going to do anything, I'd be out in the bars until 4 a.m. And I asked the bartender, "What are you doing later?" And he said, a bunch of us are going to go see the midnight showing of Star Wars. Now, just like all of us, maybe not Brent, because Star Wars didn't hit Canada until the 2000s, but the rest of us, it had an impact in our lives. So with that said, I said, yeah, I'd love to go see the midnight showing. I got a call from one of my coworkers, Sean Land, who said, hey, Miller just hired the new girl. I got the new girl with me. What are you doing tonight? Do you want to meet up at a bar? I said, I'm in line at the midnight showing of Star Wars Phantom Menace. He said, get us tickets. We'll be right there. And he brought a person. Now, I would have met my wife the next day anyway at a company meeting, but he brought who now is my wife to that show. And I was in just the right state of mind to somehow miraculously impress her into thinking that I knew what I was talking about. So it played a big role in my life, and I loved being able to introduce my children to it. So much so where 2 days ago, my oldest said, why don't we go and watch all the Star Wars movies again back to back?
Nice.
That's what we just did with all the Harry Potters. That's what we did with all the Mission Impossibles. He said 2 days ago, why don't we do that? And I thought, I'm excited for the fact that once every night for, 9 days, we're going to be able to watch those movies.
I would agree. That's the best part for me is just taking my kids to the movies. Like we always made it a thing. Every time they come out when they got old enough, of course, like we go there, try to like opening weekend, do the IMAX 3D, meet up with my best friends. And that's like, to me, there's like all these other like sort of other memories attached. Kind of like Dave. It's like, it's kind of hard to, there's all these like singular moments inside the movie, but then you have all these other kind of emotional memories like Joe's talking about as well.
You gonna cry too, Bill?
I'm not gonna cry, but I still will say Episode 3, the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin, still goosebumps. Like that made the first 3 movies, which are all trash, up until that last like hour, worth it.
Well, Bill, just to defend James, he does have a good attention span. I mean, you and him are alike in that regard. You've been watching the Lions lose for 37 years.
Yeah.
He is much older than 37. So,
Not that much older.
he's like 50 something as far as I know. So, hey, if anybody wants to join this call, say something right now. And Bill, do you have the link for this?
No, because you never gave it to me. But I will say that
look at the calendar, Bill.
John Sherrill brought up the Parks and Rec special. Did you guys watch that? Did you guys watch Parks and Rec when it was on?
I did watch it when it was on. When was the special on?
Yeah.
I think it came out last week.
I didn't see that.
I watched all of Parks and Rec when it was on. I'm a big Ron Swanson fan. With that said, I only watched the last maybe 10 minutes of the show, so I didn't get to see enough of it. So.
Yeah, it was a little like rushed, I think. I don't know. I mean, it was funny, but it was just kind of. I mean, the last part was good, but it was pretty funny. I mean, that's one of those shows where the characters are so rich. What did you say?
Oh, was it kind of like when Arrested Development came back out? They started doing those episodes after it ran. It was just sort of a little disjointed.
A little dusty. That wasn't quite that bad. I mean, I had a really tough time watching Arrested Development when it came back out. That was really hard.
Jump the shark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, so one thing I take away when I look at things like that and I see Parks and Rec is it really did have a solid lineup from the beginning. I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody had come from slightly different things. There are always some like The Office had a lot of undiscovered talent in it, let's face that now have gone on to do some tremendous things. But if you look at it, they did have, what is it named? Adam Scott, Amy Poehler, who still was on SNL, don't get me wrong.
Gene Stapleton.
Who's the guy that played Ron Swanson? What's his name in real life?
Henry.
The actor's name?
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
No.
You're the one who wants to be off Star Wars. Now stop it, Brent.
And, here.
Lando Calrissian.
John is joining us, and I'm promoting him to a panelist, so he has to be on video.
Very
good.
I've
been on furlough since the 12th of March, so really I haven't had to use Zoom for business.
From NASA?
And you just got your computer today?
Yeah. No.
So you wanted to weigh in. Did Star Wars ever do anything for you? You a Star Wars fan?
Yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan. I with all the new iterations of it and everything, I haven't had a chance to really keep up on all the new stuff. But growing up, I watched it and everything like that. Star Trek, Star Wars. Yeah.
I was never a Star Trek person.
Yeah, you're gonna start a riot with some nerd out there. You just know that.
Star Trek sucks. Chew on that, nerds.
Brent, you watch Star Trek, don't you?
No, I hated it.
Okay, good. Who was it? Who was somebody was saying they watched
hated
Star
all
Trek?
of it.
I got sucked in before my dad watched it, so I mean.
So John,
What's your problem, John?
Well, I mean, it's interesting since we've had the quarantine and everything like that. Everybody's been trying to find new ways of getting out and doing things like that. Someone actually found, it made me think of Joe Webb. Someone actually found a Bigfoot hand out in the forest.
We knew it.
You are high.
It's come to light.
So here, I'll tell you, John and I did some work for John's old dealer group out in Seattle, and then it came up another time, and he and I drove from Seattle up into Vancouver, and like spent a weekend in Vancouver because we were speaking at there was a conference up there or something. And I remember driving through the vast wilderness of northern Washington and saying, "There's no way that you can tell me," and John got mad at me for it, "there's no way unequivocally, 100%, you can tell me Bigfoot isn't there. Not 100%.
Well, let's talk about this. So, John, what did they find? What did they find in the woods?
First of all, this was part of a 2-hour drive of Joe trying to convince me that I can't convince him that Bigfoot's real.
Oh, I don't care about Joe right now. I want to talk about this.
It's all about you.
They found was like
you, John.
What they found was like about that much of a hand.
Is this a Michigan map?
Huh?
Never mind.
Okay, so they found a piece of a hand.
And they say it's not human because it's got too much hair on it to be human and it's too big. But apparently they're going to take it and research it and things of that.
What if are you sure it's not one of those car wash gloves with just like the shag carpet around it? You know, like that people.
It looked pretty real. So it looked like it had fingernails and everything like that.
But you said it was just part of a hand, though. Hold on, your story's now changing.
It was
this part too.
Right there.
Tell me where to stop.
Just above the wrist. Can you not see him, Brent?
Well, he did this first. He did this first. It's like this chunk of a hand. Could be anything.
Exactly.
No, it's like somewhere near Lansing for all you Michigan people.
It ever was.
Nice, Hudson.
All I'm saying is you cannot tell me Bigfoot. You cannot.
I've got to find that picture I have of that trip, Joe, because I've got you actually sitting in the first Fiat 500.
Oh yeah. No, I still have that picture.
You do?
It is, and listen, for me, it would not have been a comfortable drive.
I'm serious. How did he get in it? Like, how much lubrication did it take? Seriously.
Listen,
it took a little bit.
My size alone requires me to carry a hefty amount of lube.
I took Joe and his luggage in my Scion IQ in Toronto to get him over to the condo last summer.
That's the truth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen,
and the people at the hotel watching us get hit, like watching us pack the car, and the height of Joe, he just towered over my tiny little car. There was like a crowd outside the hotel going, "There's no fucking way these two bozos are getting all this stuff in the car," and the two of them, and we did it.
I am much more bendy than people give me credit. But with that said, so yes, it's not that to say that I'm going to go out and buy a Fiat and drive it around as my daily driver. That would be insane.
You should have seen where I had it parked when he got there. It was parked right in front of the showroom, and it's right in the corner where the sales desk is. And I could see the sales manager up at the tower just looking out at Joe walking towards the Fiat 500, and I could see him watching as he tries to climb in the car.
So you're still in Seattle, right?
Yep.
So you were sort of ground zero for U.S. COVID cases anyway, right?
Yes, I'm probably about 25 minutes from that life care center where everybody started dying. And,
Oh boy.
So if I can,
Dave, you can't catch COVID-19 through the camera, dude. Okay.
Yeah, come back.
You don't need a mask.
wasn't one of your former dealers like the first dealership that had a person that got tested and confirmed for COVID, and then they just sent him home, but they wouldn't let anybody else off work and to leave or get tested or something? They found out somebody had COVID and they covered it up from the rest of the staff or something, right?
Yeah, it was the Toyota store. It was you remember the Dodge Cray Sheep store we met at the first time, right? Mm-hmm. It was that Toyota store right across the street that happened on. And yeah, they tried to cover it up, and then it got on someoe's Facebook, and then employees started sharing it, and then media started sharing it, and they ended up shutting the viewership down.
That is that's a bruiser.
They just shut it down, and they kept it shut for like 10 days. Like we know we screwed up, so let's just do something major so it makes even more news.
Now, how do we know that Bigfoot wasn't sighted there, and that's why they shut it down? And there was a 5G cell tower nearby.
We don't.
Maybe the 5G cell tower made his hand fall off.
Could be.
Yeah.
You know,
So, end of the story. And as soon as I saw John joining, I'm like, he's going to bring out Bigfoot. But all I'll say is, you cannot convince me with 100% certainty that there is no such thing as Bigfoot. I just believe there are things out there that have not been discovered yet.
you got to figure though. You got to figure with big there's the hand. That looks like a fucking drawing. Oh, it's a field manual. I was like, I thought he was showing us the picture. It's like, hey, John, that's a picture. But here's the thing.
It's real, man.
All right, let's think about this though. It's been decades since the first picture of Bigfoot was taken, right? That, remember Leonard Nimoy's show or whatever, that that walking thing.
Right.
Let's think about the timeline. If that Chewbacca was that big, since it's May the 4th, we'll just, if he's a Wookiee, let's just say the Wookiee's like in the northwest of the States that long ago, probably fully grown and into mid-adulthood. There's no way it's alive now.
No.
Now those things don't. Time is different.
It's not, Dave. Time is the same for everybody.
Because as it.
Yes.
So,
exactly. Because of the love of his sister.
My sister.
How do you know that? I'm not talking about just one.
There's only one. No, there's only one.
There can be only one.
There can be only one.
Highlander Wookiee.
The Highlander.
Exactly. There's only one.
Hey, listen. Speaking of Highlander, anyone ever watched the show Outlander?
No, I've never
No. Eric's seen all of them. He was in it.
Eric's watched all the TV.
Yeah.
Name a TV show, and Eric's watched it.
Upgrade came out on Netflix Friday. An Upgrade came out on Netflix, or Upload, whatever it's called. Came out on Netflix Friday, and literally at 4:37 or something, he texted us, "Hey, you guys seen Upload yet?" or whatever, and we're like,
Wait a minute, you guys.
What the heck?
Hey,
like,
Cheryl.
Episode 3. He was on
Hey,
episode.
Cheryl, what are you doing? Are you online shopping? You're not even paying attention. We invite you,
Yeah,
and you're like, don't mind me.
Really?
I'm just gonna fucking sit here and shop on Amazon like a jabron. What's
No,
wrong
I
with you?
lost
Thank
the
you
hand
for
picture. I
joining.
was trying to
Thank you
find
for
it.
joining.
Holy cow!
Moved on. We appreciate you, John, for everything you do, John. You take care, John.
Yep.
You be good.
John, thanks.
Yeah, John.
Right, so,
Booted him.
listen, I
If
love
you don't
all.
pay attention, you get booted.
I don't know why, but my Facebook Live doesn't show comments anymore. Just said
Maybe we should wait for more people to log on then.
Again,
No one's watching.
Just to tell, let's explain. Eric asked us about Upgrade or Upload or what it was. It was at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. He's like,
It wasn't 4 o'clock.
I'm on
It was
episode
8
3.
o'clock. It was 8 o'clock.
Episode 3. He'd watched 3 full hours.
Now, is this Sasquatch 8 o'clock, though, or like people 8 o'clock?
Hey, dealer teamwork staff, this is what's going on in Rochester, New York. All the TV's being watched.
Friday night.
Yeah. Friday night starts at 2 p.m. in Rochester.
Yeah, let's give a shout out to Andrea Wright for she's been commenting like a
Yeah.
mother on here. So
Yeah, Andrea is my wife's good friend. I don't know if she wants to join, but I'd be happy.
Yeah, Andrea.
Does she know how to use her microphone?
Andrea, just say yes if
No.
you want to join on video with us.
solid burn Miltsch. It was good.
Somebody tell me if she says yes, because my stuff's not working here.
I said no. Is that?
Wait, hang on.
Maybe nobody kind of sucks.
Waiting for it to refresh.
All right, so listen, speaking of things,
She just got a bed. She says no.
Aw.
speaking of
Chicken.
things that we don't know whether or not we've discovered yet. Over the weekend, some stuff was declassified. I'll let Eric talk because Eric knows the conspiracy stuff more than anything. When it comes to UFOs, you saw some footage of UFOs be officially declassified, and because America is so much of a shit show right now on the news, it gets virtually zero attention. So, do you want to share some information about that?
Yeah, so whatever it was, a year or two ago, somebody had footage of some unidentified flying
Tom
object.
DeLonge.
whatever they
Fighter
call it.
pilots. Fighter pilots.
Yeah.
Tom DeLonge.
Fighter pilots, F-18 fighter pilots.
So yeah, so they filmed it, released it, and obviously the government just didn't acknowledge it, and everybody assumed, well, it's got to be fake, it's not real, it's Photoshop, Video Shop, whatever. And so then, amid all of this, last week, the Pentagon releases it as their official video. They said, yes, we have no idea what this is, our video. We don't know what it is. And nothing, crickets. Story goes unnoticed. Everything else, that's how crazy this is right now.
Release the virus.
Yeah, they got all this.
The murder hornets.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah.
You're right.
They got those. But all this other stuff is just going unnoticed. And then I saw, this is probably my favorite one yet. This is just awesome. The theory is that the moon is fake. It's
Nice.
It's a hollowed out satellite. And that's where either the rich elite go to when they need to
Nazis.
leave, or
That's where the Nazis went.
yeah, we've got
No,
there
they
and,
went to the
and where,
Illinois governor.
in Alabama.
Seems
Yeah, so
legit.
they got- but the theory was not that we put it there. That these nutballs were basically saying that this was placed there by other civilizations. And
Nice.
And explain the tide.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's why
the
we
Earth's
put
flat,
it-
Dave. I know what you're talking about, okay?
Yeah.
That's what they did explain that in the piece I read. They said it was put there to bring balance to the planet and to create these extra these extra elements. But there was some really funky math on there, because if you look at the size and the proportion of other moon type satellites that orbit the other planets in our solar system, they're not as big proportionate to the planet that they orbit around. And our moon is like 400 times larger than any other type of moon that orbits, in proportion to that. Like if you look at Saturn's moons, they're all super tiny.
That's
again,
because you
they're-
guys
Planets
live
are
in the
super
United
big.
States. Everything's better. You guys have the
we don't
best
have
moon.
big moons.
We do
No,
have-
ours is different. Ours is metric. It's way
Have you guys
smaller.
seen the videos, though? The Navy videos? You guys watch those?
Yeah. I mean, dude,
Yep.
it's traveling like this, like they're chasing it, and all of a sudden it goes, like it goes at an angle, and then, I mean, it's like, I will say, I don't think
It's probably one of Earl Brown's drones.
spacecraft as we know it can move that fast and move in those methods.
Eric can move that fast.
I'm not saying that we haven't built it or somebody hasn't built it and it exists. I'm just saying, known to us, we don't.
Right.
Yeah.
But I
Well, hear the pilots' reactions. The pilots'
Yeah.
reactions are what's priceless, because
Yeah.
these guys are around this stuff all the time.
well, what I find,
So
what
hear
I
them
find
just
even more fascinating is
lose
just
their
the fact
shit.
that the topic itself just gone.
Yeah.
Just not on the news. Nobody cares. It's not given the time of day, because whatever is happening, it's we're being driven by fear or confusion or whatever you want to call it. It's just that type
That's everyday news.
Well, it was about a year ago that we spotted a ship-shaped planet or asteroid rotating around the sun, and then the only reason we thought that it could be a ship is, instead of anything just rotating around the sun like anything would, it slowed down to a stop, and then it kept moving in a slightly different direction.
Well, this is the other piece too that I thought was crazy, Joe, was the fact that in the article about this hollowed out moon, they said that they when they interviewed our astronauts that had been there, and when they drilled into it, apparently when they drilled into it, it caused earthquakes, and there was this rattling echo of a sound that emanated from the planet or from the object they landed on for about 40 minutes. It was like a giant echo. And so what they were
Oh
drilling
no! They found out what that noise was. There was a big piece on it. It was the canned music from the lobby of a Marriott Bonvoy. It's inside the moon.
So it's good about
As soon as
this.
they drilled the hole in, the music came out of the hole.
Crying earlier, so I'm glad we're on this.
You
Dude,
could use your
listen,
Bonvoy
you-
points to go to the moon.
Everybody knows right here you have more heart than all of us.
Dave does, big crybaby.
He could cut,
I love Dave.
he
Okay,
could break
don't
his heart
talk bad about
in
Dave.
two, and he could actually give, like, right now, Brent is the Tin Man. Okay? and Dave is the scarecrow.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
And as always, Bill's Dorothy.
but I might end up getting in a fist fight with Brent now because of this.
Exactly. And Jarek is the Lollipop Guild. Yeah, I'm just gonna put some. Go get your curly-toed shoes on, Jarek.
I almost just want to hit Brent's. If you can imagine Brent, you hit square in the nose, and his AirPods just.
Good. Hudson's gonna try. He's gonna fucking belt me in September when he sees me.
So speaking of September, we can start wrapping this up a little bit. I don't know if anybody else wants to join. I've been watching the Facebook Live thing.
Lori Foster, jump on.
You want to jump on, Lori, real quick?
Yeah, quick, because I gotta pee.
Was John the only viewer?
No.
We had one viewer.
John.
And then we kicked him off. Then we booted him. What happens if you come on and you don't pay attention?
I love John. He's a great guy.
Or you're a Seahawks fan. Yeah. He seemed nice.
No, I've known John.
I'll miss John.
Have you never met John before? John's
I don't know. Seems super nice.
I love this
for now
thing where everybody knows everybody in our industry.
Yeah.
So sometimes I walk around and you don't know Eric? And no, I've never met him. I'm like, okay, you too. And so it is weird that I always assume that everybody knows everybody.
Well, auto-celebrity works like The Bachelor or something like that. Like you're good for a season, and then you are.
It's like being famous in automotive is like being rich in Monopoly.
Hey, listen, I want to do a little pitch really quick, if I may.
Oh, Jesus.
No pitching. So,
I'm doing yet my 16th webinar on how to manage COVID.
And real quick, somebody shared, I think it was Eric, shared some video of a Mike Tyson podcast called Hot Boxing earlier, or maybe Friday. I don't know who sent it.
That was Eric, I think.
And then I sent Bill a Marvin Hagler versus Tommy Hearns round 1. And that round 1 is probably one of the best rounds in all of boxing. And I'm going to add Lori here right now.
Oh, there goes Lori Foster.
You're going to have to go to Facebook, and you're going to have to mute your Facebook Live thing. So I'm going to promote you.
Yeah, mute your Facebook Live or we'll throttle you.
What I want to say is...
Be lightly roasted.
Be lightly roasted, heavily roasted.
You're going to see unplugged. You're going to see unplugged Lori. So be ready. Brace yourself.
That's fine.
Unplugged Lori, is that like unplugged Nirvana? Like after you kicked heroin, or
acoustic Lori?
I have to start heroin, then I'll kick it. Okay.
All right. Well, it's first of the week. There's time.
Eric Clapton Unplugged, where he just delivers a monster album after his kid, his clumsy little kid, takes a fall from that window, and he dropped Tears in Heaven, and that was a killer. Somebody just asked over the weekend, what's the best love song? And everybody else was mentioning things between husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend. And I think pound for pound, Tears in Heaven's pretty strong.
That's awful,
dude.
Ugh.
Listen,
seriously,
understand where it's coming from.
Ugh, just awful.
Lyrics.
That's like a cock block song, dude. Sorry.
You also paid to watch an elderly Phil Collins sit in a chair and sing songs to you for 2 hours.
Elderly Phil Collins rocks.
Come on. Yeah. That's the guy in his band that wrote the whole song about it's no fun being an illegal alien, and they dressed up like Mexicans in the video. You could never show that now. It's so inappropriate. It just goes into that classic, British racism. Classic British racism.
Pretty much every
story, Lori.
Movie.
Lori Foster, everyone.
Lori Foster, everybody. Tears in Heaven's an awful love song.
In the future.
No, that's not a love song.
It's not a love song. His kid died.
I know. But listen,
it's like a song you played a dirge.
Let me grab my guitar. I'll recite it. Hang on.
Oh, no, you don't.
And his kid didn't just die. You go through the whole memory of the kid fell out of a window. It's like the worst possible death. And so no, it's not a love song. Just so you know.
And then you monetize it.
Yeah.
It's about
Joe. I'm a monster.
No, it's about love for a child, is what I'm saying.
Sure it is.
Don't ask
But it's
Dave.
not a love
I just want
song.
to point something out. Brent, 1, laughed at my emotion. 2, is totally disregarding the love song of a poor baby falling out of a.
Yeah, I am.
And Lori Foster, everyone.
Yeah. What else you want, Hudson?
What do you bring to the,
Yeah, what of it?
what are you
What of it?
bringing to the water cooler this morning?
Yeah,
It's
Lori.
cold in Canada.
What have I got? Oh my goodness. I've got, oh boy, oh boy.
Careful, don't pitch though. If you pitch,
I-
I boot you.
After
Your camera's
hearing-
vertical, by the way. Just want to let you know.
He needs to, in the future, download the Zoom app.
There you go.
There you go. That's better.
I
All right,
looked
Lori.
at you that way. Stop it. So murder hornets. That's all we're talking about down here in Charlotte is murder hornets.
Nice.
There's like
Murder hornets.
3,000
Those are
pounds
big
of
ones, right?
they are.
Yeah.
They're out by
Yeah.
John
Yeah.
Sherrill's place. They're out at
With
out west.
Bigfoot. Maybe the murder hornets kill Bigfoot.
But yeah, so murder hornets are all I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about coronavirus. I want to talk about murder
Good.
hornets
Good.
because
No Star Wars?
No, we're
That's
done with
fine.
that.
even
Don't
though
get me started.
I made a rescue with you, you're making fun of my lisp. That's not
No,
very-
I'm making fun of
Oh.
me. I'm making fun of me.
Yeah, stop
If
making
that was
fun
gonna
of
make
Lori's
fun of you, I'd
list.
pick something else.
Yeah.
I have a question for
That's
Lori.
more of a medium roast, Dave. Medium
I have a
roast.
question
All right.
for Lori though.
Okay, murder hornets, Lori, lay it on us. Give us your take.
Say what again?
Give us your take on murder hornets. Give us your 1 minute take on murder hornets.
I think that we should agree globally that murder hornets have no political persuasion and we all need to join forces to kill them immediately.
I agree with that.
Look
Sign
at the
me up.
wall.
And I'm running for president on that platform only.
Just
Murder
on murder
hornets.
hornets. Nice.
Eradication
Lori,
of
I
one
have a
plank.
question for
One
you.
plank.
I have a question for you, Lori.
Yes.
So I'm curious if you feel comfortable talking about it, that's fine. But I think it would be a good topic at least. What happened yesterday with your post? You said someone did something that upset you. You okay?
Oh, I'm okay. And it was nobody in our automotive world and it wasn't business like this. It was a personal business thing. And because this is Zoom, that just put a lump in my throat. Let's just put it this way. I have been incredibly kind and thoughtful to somebody for about the last 9 months and their family. Made every possible concession, even their plea for help at Christmas time so that they could buy presents for their kids.
Mm.
And all I'm going to say is they stuffed it to me. They abandoned and they moved away without warning.
So, Lori,
That's shitty.
I was here. Do you need us to go find this person, kick the shit out of them?
Yeah.
No, because there's nothing to kick because they're weenies. So that's
Right.
no fun. It's no sport when you're.
Do you want Jarek to drive to their
If you
house
think
and just
it's
tell
not
them
fun
stories
beating
about
up somebody
TV?
who can't fight
It's
back.
fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I like
It's fun.
people who have no chance to fight back. It's literally a pastime.
Okay, well then let's go. I'm with you. Let's go.
Can we
I got
send
the-
murder hornets? Can we just send them the murder hornets?
Yeah, send them an envelope of murder hornets.
Just a
In
whole
an
At least a
Amazon
glitter
delivery.
bomb. At least send
Amazon's
them a
in
glitter bomb.
Washington. Amazon's in Washington. They can package up some murder hornets and send them to their doorstep as like a homecoming gift or something.
The main thing that scares me is not just the size and not just the fact that they're deadly if enough of them sting you. It's the fact that their heads are bright yellow, so you can see them coming like death lights right at you.
And they're robotic. They're robots.
What? I don't understand. How many
They
of
come
these
from the
have to
hollow
stick
moon,
you?
actually. They're not from Asia. at
First
all.
off, Lori, just walk away from those idiots that like chumped you out there because
Yeah.
that's not fair.
Love
You're a
you.
good person to do that, and just move on from that.
Oh,
But
done.
what I don't understand. How many times do you have to be stung by a murder hornet to croak?
Great question.
Thanks.
So my researchers are going to go to their house and find out. Now, you know what, guys? Life happens. Stuff. You know me. I'm always positive, but I think what people forget is that I'm a human too, and some things literally sting in your heart. But that's okay. I'm already done with that. I'm just making all the arrangements, and that house is going on the market like right now.
Listen, broken people try to make other people broken. Misery loves
Hey.
company, and a person who's unhappy, no matter how much you bend over backwards to help them, is going to try to take advantage because they know you care, and there's nothing that somebody who's miserable likes more than doing is hurting somebody that cares. Period. Misery loves company.
And so that's why I think it's so interesting that the universe had that happen and murder hornets in the same week. So I think the murder hornets were sent here on a mission.
when you know where this person lands, give me their address, and I can sign them up for a lot of email newsletters that do like Pennies and Coles. Those things will never stop.
This is apparently upset Hudson.
campaign.
David's off in his hallway crying or something.
Oh, David, it wasn't you, David. David, you paid your rent.
I know, yeah. I know Eric's got to go soon to audit some websites or something. He's messaging us on the chat behind that he has to leave. He's got work to do.
I do.
I have a question. Like, how did this party start today?
That's our good friend Joe.
And do you like Diet Dr. Pepper?
No, I don't drink soda.
No, I don't think he's an official doctor either. So
No.
He's a Facebook doctor.
Listen, there's not much. A lot of us talk every single day, and we love just getting angry about the same things together, which is one thing that makes that's a great way to find friends, is the people that dislike the same things that you do. So a lot of things just bug us, and we talk every day about them. So for that reason, I said we are pretty good at ripping things down, ripping ideas down, and people down. So I had the idea of your Monday morning roast, so everybody gets crapped on a little bit. And I thought I'd bring my besties together, and we'd invite some other people and keep the ball rolling. And we're going to meet hopefully every single Monday for an hour. This is going a little long. We're going to meet every single Monday as we can, and we're just going to talk just like friends do around in the break room, at an office, or around the coffee cooler with our mugs, and we're going to invite people. We're going to chat, and it's not going to be about work. It can be if that's what comes up.
Let's not talk about work. That sucks.
Things that we're all...
One last question for Lori.
And then we boot her.
Yeah. Lori, what's your take on this? What do you think? How do you think it's going for those people that have second hidden secret families?
Bill.
Are you asking for a friend, Eric?
He is.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's probably not going as well as one had
But
hoped.
even worse, here's an extra layer to that question. What if that person, when the shutdown happened, was stuck with the second family?
Oh.
Makes it even worse.
So it sounds to me like you know of a situation. So we're going to...
I'm saying it's got to be happening. You can't tell me that situation is not happening right now.
Yeah, I've heard of some interesting setups with people, like where they got stuck, especially in Michigan, because they slammed it shut. Like, did you know that in Michigan, even if you own like a lake home somewhere away from the fray, you cannot go to your second home to get away from like Wayne County? You're not allowed to, like, no, wait, that's my residence. I own it. So that's why right now I can't even go visit my house in Michigan because it's not my primary residence. I'm not allowed to enter the door.
Okay, you don't need to be there anyway, Lori.
Right now when I could be hanging out with
you in North Carolina.
So I've got one question for you guys. I know I got to the party late, but and thanks for letting me join in. But I missed out on some roasting, so I'm not going to feel complete unless I get a little bit of roasting from you guys to get my day like. It's already going well. I've been up since dark 30, but like get my day supercharged. Let me have it.
Where to start?
Yeah.
Let me go grab that list I made up. Hang on.
Franklin's, Forrester. Oh, Foster. Here we go.
There you go.
So, I think it's really cute that you hide your Geritol in your Dr. Pepper's can.
Geritol's generous.
Exactly.
That's like Captain Morgan's.
Yes,
This is actually the one podcast where Lori hasn't talked more than everybody else.
You asked for it. You
Ask for it. Here we go.
We're here. I'm not
Lori buys.
Lori, next time. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just gonna say, the hardest thing about Lori's lockdown is the amount of Metamucil in bulk she has to buy from Amazon.
Yeah, but next time you call in, Lori, like don't do it from the methadone clinic.
Shoot, you caught me. All right.
If anything, hey Lori, I was going to wear that exact same tank top, and then I'm glad I didn't. It would have been so embarrassing if somebody else had the same one up.
We did the same no makeup thing though, so that's good.
No, I put mine on.
I like that you just have
That's
like.
where he went like 5 minutes ago.
That's right.
That's where he was. David, you were born camera ready, so we all know
right.
that. Yeah.
Listen, Dave, first thing in the morning, looked like a homeless guy when he joined this call. I'm not joking.
Just like everyone else who lives at his house, apparently.
I know, it's a flop house.
So, Lori, is there a reason that you only have one bowl in your house?
Exactly.
One what?
Like
One bowl.
Just one cereal bowl all day long?
Yeah, it's right beside your bong there on the back on your front
Exactly.
shelf.
Yeah.
It's their methadone bowl.
Above all those books you've gotten at conferences that you've never read.
Yeah.
Oh, that bowl? That was supposed to be my idea bowl. My idea bowl's down there now.
How's that going for you?
Yeah, no, empty as hell.
Empty as shit.
Bunch of box wine boxes.
Exactly. It's my idea boxed wine.
It's just box tops.
This is my idea bowl, and look, even my idea bowl has holes in it.
I fill the idea bowl with boxed wine.
It's all holy. It's like going to fall apart.
exactly.
The ideas are empty
Exactly.
apparently. They just
You can actually put you can put a lot of straws in this bowl. So if you fill it up with wine, you can just drink it really quickly.
I gotta tell you, with all this camera movement though, I'm surprised I haven't seen like 28 cats.
She doesn't have. I don't think she has any cats. Do you have any cats?
No, they're buried in the backyard with her ex-husbands.
The first time they scratch her.
Yeah, done.
You gotta go.
It's just a mass grave of cats and dead old men in the backyard.
Dead rich guys.
No.
Rich
I
dudes.
guarantee you she kills the young men.
I think we did pretty good roasting, Lori.
That was good.
Really,
Hey, Lori.
Warm up. I'm sure you've got better stuff. You'll come up with better material for next time. But I'm really proud of you for just jumping in. The enthusiasm level was a little bit greater than anticipated.
Just your professional
Okay,
opinion.
that's what I thought. Okay, sorry about that, but we don't need anybody to tell us.
Yeah. No, you guys did really good.
We know.
Exactly.
Okay?
You guys did really. Yeah. Thanks for the grade. Thanks
because
for the grade, Mom.
While we love everybody that's watching, and we really do,
Except for James.
care first and foremost about us and each other, and so we don't need. I mean, like, we're welcoming you into our inner circle for a moment.
Thanks, and thanks for John Jarrell and Carol Baskin for joining us today.
Yeah, can we have John on every week just to kick him off?
Yeah, I apologize. Don Shula was supposed to join us.
Oh, too soon.
Woof.
No, it wasn't.
No.
All right, guys.
I'm surprised he's still alive. Actually, honestly,
Yeah.
like, I was like, wait, he's still around?
You did an average job today, Joe. Way to go, buddy.
After his son's job as the coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, I'm surprised he didn't off himself. So I really appreciate all you guys, and we're all besties anyway. Every single Monday, let's get together and just chat because this is really fun for me.
Yeah.
All of us.
Three of my favorite people right there.
Exactly.
At least two of
Don't
them.
steal my lines, you.
Shut up.
No,
Hey, you know what, Joe? Joe, I want to give you some kudos back. Thank you for organizing this, and thank you for letting other people talk today.
Yeah.
no,
That doesn't happen often.
what I do is I take long periods of time. I'll have like 3 or 4 stories, and I'll cover those stories. But then I will sit back, and I won't be the constant negative influence that people like yourself are. So,
Someone's got to do it.
yeah, exactly. Well, I want to say goodbye to Brent and his mullet, and then Eric, yourself, and your lack of Star Wars stuff today. Bill, interestingly enough, and I say this a lot, because I've spent more time with Bill than almost anybody in life.
Is this a long story?
Bill really does an amazing job of keeping conversations going. He and I have spent like 24 straight hours in cars together. And when I say that, Bill is bright enough and interesting enough where he will speak for 90% of that time. And it's still entertaining to me. I think that's great. That's fun. So
And the guy kingpins like a motherfucker.
Oh God, she's calling me. I'm not answering. Who calls on Facebook? Insane.
Who's calling you on Facebook?
Lori.
Lori, you were just on. Stop calling us.
Yeah.
You had your moment. You got
Get the
roasted.
hint.
Now get to work. Go clean. Go wash your face.
I was gonna say go speak at a conference, but you beat
Yeah,
me
go
to-
speak at. There's got to be some conference or something, Lori, you could be speaking at right now.
All right, everybody, Dave, everybody, I appreciate y'all.
All right, thank you, John.
Yep, thanks, guys.
For everybody.
Okay.
Yeah,
Have a good
thank
week.
you, guys.
Dave,
Thanks,
thanks
John.
for sharing
Lori.
that story. I appreciate the
Dave,
vulnerability.
I want Dave to tell the Star Wars story every single week.
It's gonna get better.
It'll probably change
Start
every
covering.
week too.
When he realized what happened to the Ewoks.
Just till he gets to the point emotionally that he can't take it anymore, and he blows his brains out on the podcast.
Yeah. Don't waste it.
Dave left like 4
Don't
times
waste
during-
it. You only drink the bleach when you get sick.
Yeah.